Yo soy Pigweed. Hoy reseñamos una IPA y discutimos nuestro tiempo en México. Well, buenas noches, Crowhill. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, Pigweed. Why is the introduction in Spanish?
Oh, well, I just got back from Mexico,
Yes.
and I almost forgot how to speak English.
Ah, well, how long were you there?
8 days.
8 days.
Yeah. I'm a fast learner
Yeah.
and kind of a fast forgetter, so it
Okay,
seems.
well, all right. Well, let's get to some beer and conversation.
Okay, let's do that. What are we drinking anyway?
Well, I ordered this hazy IPA, but what exactly are we discussing again? I didn't catch the Spanish.
Yes. Well, if you recall, the three of us were just in Mexico.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I think we should talk about it.
Okay,
And,
fantastic.
Let's drink this thing first.
All right, so this is called Disco Nap Double IPA,
Whoa.
and it's from Mobtown, which is local here.
Ooh.
And it's a hazy IPA.
It's a hazy and it's a stinky.
It's a stinky. Yeah, it's got a lot of hop aroma going
All
on
right,
there.
that's very good. I
Yeah,
like
so get
this.
in there and tell me what
all
you
right.
think. What do you think, Longinus?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's full bodied.
Oh, I
it's,
do
it's
love the
rich.
nipples.
It's thick. Yeah, and
Yeah,
almost
it's
a little bit on the sweet side.
I'm not surprised. Oh, we've got some white wheat in here and some rolled oats.
Yeah,
and
it's
some
almost-
flaked wheat.
So a lot of hazy IPAs have that almost chewy flavor to them. You know, it's like, it's not, if you drink a really light beer, you're drinking a Corona, you're just drinking a beer. This one, like, has some substance to it. You know,
Yes.
you feel like you're really getting something.
And I think I've got wheats and oats. Is that what's giving our some cloudiness?
Yeah, I think so. So this beer, which is very nice, tells us the malts and the hops.
Well, that's
2-row malt, extra pale white wheat, rolled oats, flaked white wheat, and the hops are Magnum Citra, Idaho 7, I don't even know what that is,
right.
and Nelson Sauvin,
I
you
do like the
use
Nelson,
that one,
yeah.
and Sabro. So a lot of hops, very interesting beer.
Yep, 8% and no joke.
No joke. All right, so Mexico. Of course, for the month before we went to Mexico, I couldn't stop singing James Taylor's song about Mexico. It just was running through my head constantly.
Now, let me make it clear. It wasn't 3 guys on a bros trip.
No.
No. My son got married in Guadalajara,
Yeah.
and I invited a bunch of friends and a bunch of family, and everybody I invited showed up, and I'm honored to have that take place. But you guys decided to pregame it.
We did,
right.
because it was also Mrs. Crowhill and my 40th anniversary year, so we decided we'd do a little extra celebrating. We went to Sayulita, and Longinus was there.
Oh, and we showed up and had a wonderful place and enjoyed that little seaside town.
All right, so let
nice.
me ask you some questions, because
All right.
the time I went to Sayulita, I went for a wedding, but it was outside of town, and I never went to the town proper, because the whole family and
yeah.
everybody was in this, this sort of small town outside of town.
Right.
And then when you guys said you wanted to go to the beach, I think Mrs. Pigweed was right in saying Puerto Vallarta is just like a city on the water. It's just too cityfied. It doesn't have, to me, it doesn't feel like a beach town. So she recommended Sayulita. And
Yeah.
so it's about how far, a lot of people know Puerto Vallarta. It's,
West coast of Mexico.
West Coast,
yeah.
about 2/3 of the way down the country, and it's a big stop for cruise ships and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so you flew into Vallarta, and then
And then took a bus.
Yeah.
What was it? 40-minute ride, something like that?
Well, yours was 40 minutes. Mine was a third-rate bus, so it was like an hour and 10 minutes.
you guys had a lot of stops along
We
the
had
way.
a lot of
Yeah.
stops, and it was, we had the guy that had his, bandied radio on there playing Mexican music.
Good.
The windows
Yeah.
were open,
Yeah.
and sitting around and talking.
God.
Yeah.
No
That was
chickens,
great.
though.
No chickens. No
Okay.
chickens. My bus ride was actually not bad at all. Now, there were... You're immediately struck with the language barrier
Yeah.
because all these people don't speak English at all. And you're like, so I'm trying to pay the bus driver, and I'm like fumbling around, getting my phone out, trying to use Google Translate or something.
So hold on, you didn't go to the bus station and get a ticket?
No, you pay on the bus. At least where I was,
Oh,
you get on the
Longinus
bus
and
and then
Value.
you pay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you guys went to like a formal place where there's a
Some of the rides were that way.
a touristy office
Yeah.
where the people spoke English
So
and you pay the ticket.
going from Sayulita to Guadalajara was that way, and then later going from Guadalajara back to Puerto Vallarta was that way. But this was just like a local bus.
You just get on the bus and pay the guy?
Yeah, get on the bus and you gotta pay the guy. And I'm like, I don't
like
know
60 cents.
I don't know what pesos are, and I'm like, I'm fumbling
just
around.
landing here.
Yeah, like what in the world? Fortunately, there was a woman who sort of spoke English and interpreted for me for the.
Right, which I found everybody to be very, very friendly and very helpful,
nice.
And
yes, very nice.
So the town, touristy.
It was, but
lots of Europeans and Americans and Canadians.
It was all Mexicans.
Yeah.
Most of the tourists were Mexicans.
Yeah.
I mean, there were. Yeah, I mean, there were Americans and
there
Europeans,
were
but not many.
Not many. And
the town far between.
The town itself. So the interesting thing about this town is it's right on the beach.
Right.
You got this beach, and then immediately, right off the beach, you go up these rocky hills, and all the houses and the resorts, places you're staying, are kind of nestled in the hills.
So there's not a level, couple of acres of flat next to the beach?
Like you go to Florida, right? I mean, all of Florida is flat. I mean, the whole state is flat, right? And from the beach to the hotel, you have to walk up like 5 feet, right? Here we had this driveway going from down near the beach up to it was like, boy, this is hard to walk up this driveway. It was very, very steep.
And was it paved or cobblestone?
Well, that was paved, but most of the city was cobblestones, which sounds kind of cute.
It's charming.
It's except when you have to walk on it or ride a car on it. Everything is
or how about somebody on a scooter or a bicycle?
Okay,
lots of them.
That absolutely amazed me. So there are a lot of things that happen in Mexico that would never happen in the United States, and one of them was
100%.
Somebody, a guy riding a scooter,
right.
Sitting behind him is his wife or girlfriend or whatever, carrying a baby, none of them wearing helmets or anything, just riding along on the scooter.
On the cobblestone?
On cobblestone streets. Yeah. You're looking at this going,
and so he's like just wobbling and zigzagging.
Yeah, what in the world is going on here?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, all the safety violations that you would find in an American city. Yeah. Who cares, man?
Nobody cares.
Did you see the police presence?
No.
Now, was there military presence on the beach? Because sometimes nothing.
I didn't see any military.
There were people selling donuts on the beach, which was very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, the donuts and some guy tried to sell us a bunch of shrimp.
Like, no weed. Anybody try to sell you weed?
Oh man, I got to tell you, they tried to sell me weed, and the greatest thing is they tried to sell me cocaine. So of course I still got the look of a young man that would be looking for cocaine.
You look like that kind of guy.
Yeah,
of course I said no because I'm afraid my heart might go.
Nobody tried to sell me any cocaine, but they did. On the beach, they were selling trinkets. They were selling tequila. They were selling shrimp on a stick. Everybody's trying to sell something.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Now, but less Mexican. You guys found yourselves a craft beer bar?
We did. Through help. Thank you, Google.
Right.
We found a little place right there in town. 2 of them actually.
Yeah, 2 of them.
One of them.
I haven't seen that many craft beers in Mexico ever.
Yeah.
One was like a smoking beer shop.
One of them was smoking beer. That was interesting. But the other one was a genuine craft beer brewery. They only had 3 or 4 beers on tap, I think, but they were good. And actually, we did a beer review down there.
Right.
I'm going to post that one. I have to post that one on here. Yeah. So we did a beer review in Mexico of Mexican craft beer. It was a lot of fun. But Sayulita was charming in a lot of ways. That there were no safety regulations. You'd walk down the street and somebody would be selling beer, somebody would be selling tequila, somebody would be selling whatever right there in a little booth right there in the middle of town.
Yeah, that's the thing about Mexico, which is both charming and dangerous, is it just doesn't seem like anybody's in charge.
Exactly.
Anywhere. And it's sort of liberating in the sense of not having, nanny state, wagging their finger at you about what you should and shouldn't do.
Yes.
And also you feel like, is anybody in charge here?
Exactly.
And it gives it its
love
local
it.
character too,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
like if you don't have to meet those standards, which redesigns everything to look like
Yeah.
regular America.
Right.
But down there, it looked like Sayulita.
So we're
That's
sitting
fantastic.
we're sitting at this little bar that Longinus and Mrs. Longinus found, and it's a nice little bar by the side of the road on this one side street. And Mrs. Crowhill is like, I don't know if I can drink this. Is the ice filtered or not?
Right.
Because the big problem, Montezuma's revenge and all that,
Yeah.
you're always worried about, am I drinking in a bunch of bacteria that my body's not used to?
Yeah.
So I just pulled out Google Translate and, asked and showed. And
Yeah.
It all worked out. It
Yeah,
was filtered water.
Yeah.
But-
You can trust in any decent place. I mean, the Mexicans don't want unfiltered ice either.
Yeah.
Or what do they call it? Agua purificada, the purified water
Okay.
is what they make their ice with.
Okay.
They should, but
Yeah.
just, could be some sketchy place. So tell me about sitting there and watching that Pacific sunset.
Yeah.
Nothing like seeing the sun set over the water, because here on the East Coast, all you get is sunrises, and I mean, you get up that early, and I don't get up that early.
Well,
But out there on the West Coast, you must seen some fine sunsets.
Well, it was kind of strange because we looked over. I was looking over the water for the sun setting, and it wasn't. It was sun setting over the hills.
Because this little part of Sayulita is actually the beach is facing north.
Right.
So
And I think that's
the sunset is setting to your left.
and because it's in a bit of a bay or a cove,
Yeah.
it makes the waves a little less intense.
Yeah.
When you get further up the coast, which is where I was in Sayulita, it was dangerous to get in the water. So I think that's why that beach is there, is because of that. But it does kill your sunset buzz.
Yeah. But we did, Mrs. Crowhill and I did a bunch of body surfing.
Good.
And that
So,
was- it was a
there
lot
was
of
enough
fun.
that.
I lost my goggles.
Okay, so it was
they
pretty strong.
flopped off my head.
And what's the water temp?
Oh, it was lovely.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It
walk
was
straight in?
maybe too warm.
You didn't-
Maybe too warm. Yeah.
You didn't even get that little chill when you dive in?
No. But then one thing about the water it was like Princess Fairy water or something, because there's all these sparkles in the water.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I think there was a high mica content
Uh-huh.
in the sand.
Oh, I like to think of gold flakes.
Okay, but I don't think it was gold flakes, but it was sparkly.
He's the geologist.
And would you
Yeah.
could you see straight down to your feet?
Yes, and the thing was, like if you're in Bermuda,
Yeah.
and you look out, you can see that the water is clear. You can see the bottom like from the shore. Here, you looked out on the water, and it looked like any other beach. It looked like Ocean City.
Okay.
It looked like brown water. But you get out there, and you're standing almost up to your neck, and you can see your toes.
Well,
So the water was pretty clear.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
it was talking about the waves. We were sitting there on the beach, and there was like a surf camp.
Yeah,
And
there's
the
a bunch
kids
of-
were like-
Ah,
The kids were like 8 years old.
fantastic.
And they were getting on there, and I mean, the waves were gentle and small, but they were getting
Maybe you're
on top.
probably the right size for learning, huh?
Yeah, the right
Yeah.
size for learning.
There was
and
a lot
it
of
just
surfing
absolutely
going on.
amazing.
All
was
right,
very
and
nice.
mostly, you think mostly Mexican kids, or do you have
No, I
some?
saw some gringos out there.
All right,
surfing.
very good. All right, you guys ready to get on the bus and go to Guadalajara?
Let me see. Is there anything else about Sayulita? Sayulita was great, and I would.
Did you have how about like wildlife? Do you have lizards and parrots or anything?
Oh, I had
like
a dog.
Dog, yeah,
Yeah, we adopted a dog for about 3 hours. The thing walked up to us and it had a little shade with the umbrella, and he just plopped down,
Just
and
put his
just
tongue
that
out.
was it.
Yeah.
And then Tracy's like, "Oh my God, I'd take him home if I could."
A lot of interesting
I would've
plants. There were great frigate birds soaring around above. That was pretty cool. Sayulita was a lovely town, and I might want to go there again. It was
Okay,
it was
well, you
very
take me
nice.
this time.
All right.
So the point,
Guadalajara.
the object, right? Yes, the object of the whole thing was my son's wedding. We're in Guadalajara. Guadalajara is the third biggest city, around 5 million people, and it is a little bit north of Mexico City and west toward the west coast. And you say how far in bus? by
Three and a
bus.
half hours.
Yeah, that's about three and a half hours.
3.5 hours from Sayulita to Guadalajara.
But looking at this map, it's not like Washington D.C.
There's
to
no
Ocean
Route
City.
50.
It looks very twisty and windy, and
Yes.
is that through mountain ranges and such?
Yeah, somewhat, and it was bumpy. Like
Even on a fancy first class bus.
yes, it was not. You didn't feel like you were riding on a U.S. highway.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of bumpiness, and there was a lot. You're riding through poor areas. You'd be riding along, and you see a bunch of poor farmers out there scraping by with a hoe. It's like, what's going on here?
Right.
And we saw lots of agave, which we'll come to later
yes, we will.
on the trip out. And basically, it was interesting to look out from time to time and see the landscape and everything, but I most of the time I read my book.
All right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a bad bus ride.
No, actually, it was a really, really comfortable bus.
Yeah.
I mean, the seats were like full reclining
Oh,
in the
yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
it was really curtains on the windows.
I know. It
Everybody
wasn't,
All right.
like a school bus or something. It was a decent
Pretty
bus
classy,
with nice
pretty classy.
seats. Yeah.
And then you roll into the density of Guadalajara.
Well, we got
right?
off at kind of the edge of Guadalajara and then took a Uber.
Zapapone?
Oh, okay, right. Right, so Guadalajara, when they say Guadalajara, they really mean the whole Guadalajara and metropolis,
Yeah.
which is made up of a bunch of municipalities. One of them is Zapopan, which is actually the same size as Guadalajara.
Mm-hmm.
They're both about 1.5 million. But and you have no idea where one starts and one ends. In fact, where we stayed, where the wedding was Zapopan. I think you guys were actually in Guadalajara, but it was only a mile away,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
So you guys stayed at the very modern Western style
It was a nice hotel. Yeah, very
hotel.
nice. Very nice.
Yep.
and
It's the Intercontinental something or
yeah,
other
no,
hotel,
part
yeah.
of the
President
Hyatt
something or other.
chain, I think.
Something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that,
It was
so,
totally
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Now the
very
one
Western.
thing that you're always worried about is do I rinse my toothbrush in the tap water? Or
Yes, people who are sticklers for it don't even want you to rinse your mouth out while brushing teeth.
Right.
Even if you don't swallow. Now, I always think about that after I'm done.
It was a hard adjustment to make. I stuck to the bottled water, but it was like I had to think about it all the time because like you're so used to sticking your toothbrush under the tap and rinsing
And rinsing
it's
your mouth
very
out and maybe even
foreign
swallowing a little bit.
Yeah, it's very foreign to be thinking, oh no, the water coming out of the tap I might not want in my
not
body.
be good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So so then we went out so I found you guys, and we went to a very traditional, kind of a touristy. It's a kind of a touristy bar, because the guy was up there going, "Oh, so who's from
Right.
Zacatecas?
Yeah.
Who's from?" So people there from all over, but everybody's Mexican. So it's not like a while in one sense it seems like they're playing up some stereotypical version of Mexico that non-Mexicans would enjoy for the fun of it, except it's all Mexican. So no, it's really what they do for fun, and it was fun. And so the next day,
Well, wait a minute. Let's camp on that for a minute.
Okay,
'cause
wait.
I really enjoyed that, and one of the things that I thought while we were at that bar, there were a bunch of what are the bands called?
So the
mariachi bands
yeah.
playing, and I used to play trumpet, and I was thinking, doggone it, why didn't I, like my first year after high school, go play with a mariachi band?
That's very trumpet forward.
Very trumpet forward,
sure
and
is.
think what an adventure that would have been.
Right.
To go out and play with a mariachi band for a couple of months.
Now I tell you, the Fiestas de Octubre so Jalisco is the state where Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara are.
Yeah.
And their state motto is Jalisco is Mexico. That's a little bit of a boast, but it's not kind of like if you people outside of Mexico and when they have a stereotypical idea, they really are thinking of Mexico. Because Jalisco is where the mariachi is from. Jalisco is where the town of Tequila is from, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
It's where the charros, the cowboys who do the trick riding.
Yeah.
that's there. So it's like people in Europe who think of the United States, everything is either a combination of Texas and California.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's Jalisco. So, so the mariachi is real. It's like country music. You can find country music anywhere in the country.
What really surprised me about the mariachi bands was, one, the guitar and the bass were not regular guitars and basses.
Okay.
So they had the guitars were either very small guitars or
You're right.
or they had
big-bodied.
they had a deep body to them.
Yes,
where
that's true.
They went bigger down below to give it a more mellow sound. And then they had a bass that was a 6-string bass. So in other words,
But
like
not
a guitar.
upright.
Yeah, you'd hold this thing, and it was a great big instrument, and it really wasn't a bass. It was a specific instrument designed for Mexican mariachi bands, but it played down in that register for the bass. And it was really fascinating because it was like a great big guitar with a fat belly that they would hold 6 strings. It was huge. It was very interesting.
And then in between they had folkloric dancers.
Yeah, but so the mariachi band was like 5 or 6 violins.
Yeah, a harp.
A harp,
which you don't always get in mariachi.
Yeah,
Was it the marching harp where you
it looks like
you can walk around?
It was a legit harp. And then
was he sitting down or
Well, stand up, but it was not something you would carry around with you. 1 or 2 guitars, the bass, 2 trumpets, and I don't recall there being any percussion.
No, I don't think you're right. I don't think there is any in mariachi.
Yeah. But anyway, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the mariachi.
And so that was night 1 in Guadalajara, but we were just warming up for day 2 is a big luxury bus to the town of Tequila.
Yeah.
So
yes, there is a town called Tequila.
there is a town called Tequila, and there are only specific places where, like in a proprietary way, that you can grow agave for tequila, and for it to be called tequila.
Because it has to be blue agave.
I don't know. Yes, right. They said there's all kinds of varieties.
Yes.
Well, you can't make tequila in Texas or another Mexican state.
surely you could grow in Texas or California, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but it's called mezcal, not tequila.
Exactly.
I see.
Now, one of the things on the way, we stopped. I'm pretty sure it was like the bus driver's niece owned the place.
The roadside
roadside thing. We stopped there, and this was an interesting thing about Mexico. To use the bathroom, you have to pay a couple of pesos.
Yeah, like 10 pesos is
And it was like 5 or 7. It was like
5 cents.
7 cents. A peso is about 7 cents, right? So you have to pay like 5 pesos, so 35 cents or something to use the bathroom, which was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. But yeah. So we stopped at that place, and then we drove on, and the whole time, all the way out to Tequila, we're seeing agave everywhere. Agave is growing.
So then it gets to the point. So first I'm like, oh look, agave field. And then I'm like, oh my god, it's nothing but agave field. And then it's like growing wild in the median strip.
Yes.
It's like nobody's planting agave
in the median strip.
Right. So it's just
It's all over
everywhere.
the
It's everywhere.
So
And then we get into the town of Tequila. Now you had told me, or somebody had told me, that it was going to be a party bus. Like we were going to be drinking tequila, and it would be a party bus the whole way out. Well, the ride out to Tequila was boring. We're just sitting in the stupid bus. Like we're riding along. It was a nice
thank
bus.
God.
And we're
That's what I think.
yeah. So we're riding on this bus. I'm thinking, where's the big party? Where's the tequila? Then we get to Tequila. We get on a different bus.
Yes.
That was the party bus.
Well, it really wasn't a bus; it was a barrel.
Yes, it was a very touristy
A
thing.
barrel-shaped bus.
Yeah.
Barrel-shaped bus. And so again, I guess in the same way that Sayulita is like, yes, it's a very touristy town, but Mexican touristy town.
Yes.
Right? We were the only. We were the only. It just seemed like the kind of place, I don't know, that would have been set up to bring, gringos and Canadians and Europeans in. But it was just up. Everybody else also seemed like they were tourists, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the town itself, my sister like, so go past the town square. Just looks like every Clint Eastwood movie set in Mexico with a 1635 church.
Yeah.
And my sister's like, it's like a movie set. I'm like, kind of is, except for this is just how it is. It's at the same cobblestone road, just riding down that barrel-shaped bus
It was
from
crazy.
distillery to distillery.
And
Yeah.
and the hostess had this device that was like a squirt bottle
Oh gosh.
stuck on the tequila, and she would go around squirting tequila into everybody's mouth.
So here it starts.
Here it starts. And one of your offspring, who was too young to drink, was sitting there in the front of the bus, just looking around and going, "What in the heck is going
Oh,
on?"
yeah. So you were watching her watch us.
Yes, it was very, very
Now,
entertaining.
as alcohol makers,
Yes,
we know that really anything that you can extract starches from,
sugars, yeah.
Yep. So, but in this case, so we're used to mashing,
Yeah.
but it seems like they take these gigantic pineapple shaped
It's a root
things
ball,
that
right?
are,
It's the root ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this great
Of the
big
agave.
thing that looks like a pineapple,
Right.
except
It has-
20 times bigger.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the leaves
No,
or whatever
That's
you want to
right.
call
Those
it.
stalk
Yeah.
things get
The stalks.
thrown away, and they it takes I think 5 to 8 years for these things to get
Right.
to mature.
You get this great big root ball, and then you put it through this really hot, intense vapor process where you're cooking it at very high temperatures for
But
like
instead
a
of
day.
soaking it, it's being
Right.
steamed basically
Yes.
for a
A
day.
day.
A day.
And
Yeah.
then it goes into a press.
Yeah, and they squeeze it. So
And they
what's
squeeze
happening?
out the
What's
juices.
happening during that process is all the carbohydrates and other things in the root are being converted into sugars by the vapor.
Yeah.
And then once they're all converted, you get this stuff that they gave us some so we could taste it.
Mm-hmm.
It tasted like molasses.
Yeah. It was very,
Mhm.
yeah. It was. You're right. You can taste the sugars in there.
Yeah. And then they took that stuff and they squeezed out the sugars in this big press, and then that was the sugar that was used to make the alcohol.
Yeah.
And then
That
so
they-
you
they-
fermented it, and then
They put yeast in just like any
But
fermentation
yeah,
process.
what I thought was interesting, or I didn't understand, maybe you guys could tell me, is like when we went to the second distillery
Mhm.
and we walked up and we looked at those big, huge vats, they didn't have a top to them.
I know that I
It was
asked
all
them about
open.
that. I asked them about that.
Oh, you
because-
guys climbed the stairs? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, so I asked them about that. That was very strange because normally when you're doing a fermentation, you want to control the yeasts that are in there. They had open fermentation,
Right. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
means you're getting wild yeast, you're getting wild bacteria, you're getting other stuff going on in the fermentation.
Right.
And I asked the guy about it, and he was just like said, "Yes, you're right," but he didn't give me an answer like why are they doing it this way?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it. Just like in the
Right.
old days before we knew about controlling yeast, it was just maybe
That's what you did.
yeah, and maybe open fermentation in Texas or California wouldn't give you the proper qualities.
Yeah,
So
that's my question.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Actually,
it would
that's-
not taste like tequila.
So that's actually an
From
interesting
tequila.
Maybe
thing.
that's how they
from a-
control the quality.
From a brewing perspective, like Belgian beers
Yeah.
were frequently done with open fermentation. And it just happened that the wild yeasts in Belgium
Right.
were well suited to that style of beer.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that anywhere, if you're in Idaho and you use wild yeast, who knows what you're going to get?
Yes,
Because-
right. All the same ingredients in that Belgian beer in Idaho is not going to give you the same beer.
Yes,
Because the yeast is
because
different.
the yeast is different. Because there's yeast in the air all the time, and so open fermentation means you're just getting what's there in the air, and that's what they were doing in that big distillery. But what I thought was really fascinating was we went to 2 distilleries, and the first one was about the size of your basement. It was
No.
it was tiny, and they had all this different equipment crammed into this tiny little space. The second one we went to was like industrial scale, yeah, and it was way bigger. They had huge vats and they're great big industrial thing. And it was interesting to see the process from the perspective of both of those different facilities.
Yeah, it was very fun. And now, so on the way back, on the way there, I'm thinking, why do they? what is this stripper pole? That's one thing. Nobody's gonna do that. Bunch of dorks.
Until everybody started drinking.
Until everybody
tequila.
drank every kind of tequila that they make in that town, including Goldschlager.
Mhm.
So there was one that had gold flakes in it, which my son, the groom, bought a bottle of, and also was lit.
Yeah.
It had a light built into it. I mean, that's a marketing.
The tour
genius.
got a little crazy
It
as
did.
the day went on.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh well, and then we got on the bus. See, the Tequila Express is a train that goes from there. And yes, you start drinking on the way out, and you're drinking on the way back, and the bathroom is disgusting because people are puking in there. So it was kind of nice that we weren't drinking on the way out or
Yes,
on the way back,
yes.
and we just all fell asleep on the way back.
Well, the trip back from Tequila back to Guadalajara, I think I slept the whole way.
Nice.
Which is good.
So,
Right.
all right. So, the next day is the wedding.
Yeah.
A beautiful
Which is
venue
lovely,
that my
totally lovely, yeah.
wife chose somehow, and it had a pool and a thing. It was amazing. And so let me just ask some general questions. Did it feel less developed or more developed than you might have had in your mind going down? More third worldy or less third worldy? Or what was your reaction in terms of, I don't know, whatever your expectations might have been to what Guadalajara was going to be like?
Well, I mean, we were in such a limited spot, but I
Yeah.
think at that limited spot, it was something that I didn't imagine, but I wasn't surprised about. What I thought was kind of cool was the health of the shopping mall across the street. It was a huge shopping mall.
Was it?
People were there from 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m.
Was it Plaza del Sol?
Suburban.
Or,
It was called Suburban
Okay.
Shopping Mall or something like that. And so it was really healthy. Lots and lots of people. All the shops had merchants in them. Not like the shopping centers we have here. The shopping center in Mexico is doing
But you
well.
mean indoor mall or shopping center?
It was an indoor-outdoor mall.
Indoor-outdoor, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And that was a big contrast because on the trip from Sayulita to Guadalajara and on the trip from Tequila to Guadalajara, you're going through a lot of areas that you might well consider third world. I mean, they were
Yeah,
they were very poor
Right.
and very depressed, and you ride along thinking, oh my gosh, this is bad. But then you get into Guadalajara, and it was not quite up to American city standards in some ways, but
Yeah.
it was very close. And like the mall was fantastic, but I went for a jog down there, and you're going through the neighborhoods, and you had prepared me for this because you told me what things were like down there. The streets look kind of ghetto. There's walls on each side. There's like barbed wire. There's gates. There's graffiti painted on these walls. So it doesn't look very nice. But once you get behind those walls, you're actually in somebody's.
Well, let's go back to the venue of the event.
Yeah.
So this is actually it's a nice neighborhood, but everything is walled and gated.
From the street, that doesn't look nice.
So it looks no. Well, I mean, the plants are maintained. And, you know what I mean? It's not graffitied and it's not weird. It's nice, but you don't know what's behind these gates.
Yeah.
And,
you just see blank walls. You don't see
blank-
any
or you just-
interaction.
sometimes
of the
you see-
architecture
There's no
to
front
it.
yard.
There's no no,
Yeah.
definitely no front yard. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're sealed. Sometimes they're gates where you park your car behind. That's
Yeah.
standard. Nobody, there's parking on the street, but everybody has a place to park inside their gate, which could be gate or it could be. What am I trying to say? Like a gate that you can see through versus like a
Right,
gate
yeah.
that's like a wall.
Yeah.
Where our Airbnb, which is also the wedding venue, was a gate that you could not see through.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It's a big cool wooden door, and a garage door, and you come through, and you just would never have anticipated.
Yeah.
this
Once you
thing.
get in, it's like, wow, this is very nice. It's like a garden.
And
once you
that's
get
what
past the
that's
wall.
what all.
Yeah.
That's what Mexico is. There's no such thing as a lavish front yard.
Mm-hmm.
people who have money are behind gates with very tall walls, and they mostly have barbed wire. And sometimes, I think ours had also electrical fence and barbed wire.
Yeah,
which is, which is, in a way, in a sort of a American sense, you're like, what do you need all that for? Right? Because it just feels very nice here, and why, what's the fuss? Well, they have their reasons, I would say.
Yeah, I mean the front yard is sort of an American creation.
Okay.
And I mean, of course, you got a little bit coming from England, but when you start talking about
even
the smaller houses,
even they're all about their garden in the
which
back.
is in the back, which is in the back. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but the front yard is really an American creation from Scott Jenkins from Toledo, Ohio.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So when I went for a jog, one of the things I was thinking about is when I told my family that I was going down to Mexico, they were all like, "Oh, be safe! What if you get captured?" I never felt in any danger at any time.
I've always felt that way, and always like based on the amount of security and stuff, I'm going, am I being naive here? Because I feel so comfortable and safe, and people are nice, and it doesn't seem dangerous.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem dangerous, but why is there barbed wire?
Yes.
That's so weird. Because
it's like somebody's nervous, but
you're getting weird signals. There's graffiti and there's barbed wire, and you would think I'm like in a gang neighborhood and I'm in danger. But it's not like that at all. It doesn't feel like that.
No,
it's very strange.
So, and maybe it wasn't like that, I mean, it wasn't a gang neighborhood.
No.
Even though you had the Tony, the Virgin Mary statue next to the Tony somebody poster.
Yeah. So the place has a slight narco vibe to it. There's these big sweeping staircases and slightly nouveau riche decorations, and I'm climbing these gigantic stairs, and I get to I'm climbing the stairs thinking to myself, this has got a kind of a Tony Montana feel, and I get up and I look out over the pool area there. I'm like, God, that is so amazing balcony, and I turn around. There's a $7 bill with Tony Montana's face on it mounted on the wall. I'm like, all right, that's kind of what I figured. This place probably comes from narco money, but not to judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where you stayed and where the venue was clearly the nicer part of town.
Yeah.
Then following that, we went downtown.
Yeah.
Where things got a little rougher.
Yeah.
Because we went. This is El Centro. This is where the government palace is, where the cathedral is. Where the traditional Spanish founding of the city was.
The cathedral was amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, some of those buildings are pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all of them.
Yeah. We tried to go to Mass at the cathedral, and we couldn't get in because there was some confirmation going on.
Yeah.
And they had hundreds and hundreds of people lined up for confirmation. So we had to go to this other chapel to the side, which was also amazing.
Oh,
it was much smaller, but it was very, very, very beautiful. Amazing.
Did you see
place.
the whiskey priest?
Did not see the whiskey priest. Of course, I mean, you know what's going on in the Mass, but I couldn't understand anything that was being said.
Right, but it seemed to follow a certain pattern.
Yeah, I know where they are, what's going on, but it's but then we went back that day for the tour, and we walked around, saw all the government buildings, and then we went to that shopping center place, and this was an amazing contrast. You were talking about the shopping center across the street from our hotel, which was sort of like an American indoor-outdoor mall. This other shopping center was this courtyard surrounded by this 3-level monstrosity.
Yes.
With all these little booths, like 10 by 10 booths. Somebody selling shoes. Somebody else selling shoes. Somebody else selling shoes.
My son asked somebody. They said there's over 3,000 individual stalls.
And how do you know which one to go? If you want to go buy a pair of sneakers at that place, there's like 85 places selling sneakers.
I don't know anybody does any proper business there.
And no, I didn't see anybody selling anything. Down in the courtyard, people were buying snacks and food and stuff.
Right.
But I only saw a couple people actually walking out of there with merchandise.
Right. We went in there. We bought some Mexican wrestling masks.
Okay.
and we bought a blanket, a Mexican blanket, to take for my son. To,
Yeah.
you know, every young man needs a Mexican blanket as a bedspread. But yeah, it doesn't look like people were making money hand over fist.
No,
in there.
no. I was wandering around through this place, and it seemed very third worldish. And I'm wandering around through there, and this guy walks by with this cart, and he's selling beers. And I'm like, yeah, this guy. And I'm like, okay, can I just drink this beer here? I'm like, is that okay? And
there's no rules down there.
there's no rules. They looked at me like, it's sort of okay.
I mean, I would see. So I remember when I was being there before and seeing somebody riding around with on a motorcycle without a helmet, and I said to my father-in-law, I said, "Is there a helmet law here?" He goes, "Yeah." All right, never mind.
But never mind. That doesn't matter.
So yeah, I mean, not supposed to do that.
Actually, that's an interesting point. I very rarely saw police. when we went down there for mass. There were a bunch of police in the main square around the cathedral.
All right.
Other than that, I don't think I saw police the whole time.
No, I saw full-scale army on the highway to Tequila.
Okay.
But
Really?
that was the actual army. See, there what's our thing called? Comas Patasi. Our army doesn't operate inside the country. Yeah. Well, their army only operates inside the country.
Oh.
So you'll see just regular army, heavily armed. Like sitting in the back of a pickup truck, strapped, and I'll say, and I said before, I was like, are these guys going somewhere or nothing? Nope, they're just riding around.
So
like, right.
there are no Mexican military bases outside of the boundaries of Mexico.
No. Their army is all internal.
Wow.
And so yeah, and
that's mind-blowing.
You see them on random highway stops. You're just driving along, and they just stop everybody and see what you're up to. And,
so they're like a police presence?
Yes, but the police are like, well, there's police, there's transito, which is like parking and speeding, and then there's army.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you want to go from the transportation, parking, and speeding to the police to the military? Is that
how? I don't know. They're all on the take. So.
Yeah, well, that's the big question. Everybody in America thinks that Mexico is overrun by the cartels and the drug lords.
Yeah.
And obviously there are areas that are.
It must be.
But, I mean, Mexico is a huge country. We only went to a couple of places, right? But... like, I didn't feel like I was. I didn't feel like I was in a cartel-controlled area.
All right, so we have one of our friends that was at the wedding is in the insurance business.
Yeah.
And I said, so how much is kidnap and ransom insurance? He says, you know what's really quite reasonable. It doesn't happen very often, but executives who come to Mexico, like if the Ford executive is going to go to a plant in there, it's very possible that the cartel knows he's coming.
Yeah,
and he's he probably has armed security, and he probably has insurance. But I mean, you and I just.
Yeah. All right, so I got to mention a few things that I noticed that we haven't talked about. In Sayulita, I saw one squirrel. I saw, like, around here you see a zillion squirrels. I saw one squirrel.
All right.
And they were very...
Did they look normal? Like, did they look like ours? Or?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. But and very few bugs.
What?
Very few bugs in Sayulita. Like, I was thinking we're going to be... So, Mrs. Crowhill, if there's a mosquito within a mile, it will, like, make a beeline to her.
I never even thought about that. Right.
There were very few bugs down there, which really surprised me.
That's great.
Yeah. And then another thing, when you get to Guadalajara and you're driving along at night, the borders between the lanes had flashing lights on them.
Now, that's new to me.
That was weird.
Been there, well, I probably haven't been there in
I saw that, and I was like trying to decide whether I liked it or didn't like it. Because in a way, it makes things very plain, but it's also kind of distracting.
Well, I tell you what, in Mexico, it's probably for this reason. If there's 4 lanes, technically, but 5 lanes will fit, you'll get 5 lanes. Like people will just use up the shoulder, like whatever.
I see. So this provided an actual barrier.
Maybe it's designed to get people to stay in your darn lane. I'm not sure about that.
It's kind of like in a lot of countries, getting people to line up is impossible.
Yeah.
Like in the Middle East, nobody lines up.
Yeah. Everybody just bunches towards the front.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Right. So I thought that when I felt more of being in a foreign country, being more in a poor third world type country, was when we were coming home and we hit the rainstorm.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And that rainstorm was amazing.
Yeah, and the water had no place to go.
Yeah.
And it all just
it was magic 12
inches.
It was immediately 12 to 18 inches.
It was totally magic water, because you'd be at the bottom of the hill and there'd be a foot of water in the street, and you'd go like up the hill and there'd still be a foot of water. I'm like, how is this possible? How is it possible that there's a foot of water at the top of the hill and at the bottom of the hill? I didn't understand that at all. But you're right. There was no place for the water to go.
Right. The stormwater management has
a discipline for a city.
But there's so much water, because the whole event took 45 minutes or something like that.
Right.
We got back to our hotel, and the street in front of the hotel was a river. Like you could have paddled a kayak down the street.
And you see still on those little motorcycles, like riding through.
I know.
And then it was
up to their ankles.
We went there, and then we had a beer at the bar, and then I snuck out and looked back, and the water was gone.
Wow!
So like in a matter of like an hour and a half, all that water found its way to someplace else.
I think it has a legitimate drainage system. It's just
it's slow.
You can only handle so much. So anywhere.
Now here, how about this? We were very far south. But it really wasn't that hot, because Guadalajara is a mile high.
Exactly. So we are. When you're in Maryland and you drive to Florida, you're like, "Ooh, it's 1,000 miles south. It's so much hotter."
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
You're going another 1,000 miles.
And you go 1,000 miles, and you're like, "How come it's more comfortable?"
Right.
How come the humidity's low? It's 84 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm 1,500 miles south of home.
Right.
But like you say,
it was very pleasant.
It's what do you say, 5,000 feet?
Yeah.
And that's what it counts. But if you're 5,000 feet, aren't you 5,000 feet closer to the sun? Oh,
it doesn't work.
Solve that problem, Mr. Science Guy.
Yeah, that's
Is that how it works?
So
it should be hotter. I'm almost there.
Okay, wait a minute. It's 186,000 miles from the Earth to the sun. So 5,000 feet doesn't really make a big difference.
All right.
The fact is that you're up higher, so the air is thinner, and it's just not going to be as hot. It's like you go up on the mountains.
Why is that? If the air is thinner,
it doesn't hold as much heat.
It doesn't hold as much heat.
Yeah, I mean, look at the mountains. You go up a mountain, and you get to the frost line.
Did you notice 5,000 feet during your jog?
I didn't. But I did feel kind of beat. And I didn't attribute it to the fact that I was a mile high.
Right.
But
could be something to that.
Yeah, it might have been something to it. Yeah.
Or it was just that you.
Because your friend Charlie was saying that he felt it.
Okay.
But he ran a lot farther than I did. He's a more serious runner.
Well, he was also he also had a lot of tequila.
Mezcal.
Okay.
Mezcal,
tequila. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to my son's wedding. I'm glad you got to enjoy Mexico, and Viva Mexico.
All right. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends.